Mwah.
Thank you.
So Tom, take it away whenever you're ready.
All right, Steel Pony Blues. I caught my steel pony, and boys, I'm gonna ride.
When you get down to Holbrook, you won't find me there. Good Lord, I caught the first thing smoking down the road somewhere. Caught the first thing smoking down the road somewhere. Cause I caught my steel pony, and boys, I'm gonna ride. I'm getting far too old to follow this here herd. Good Lord, I caught the first thing smoking down the road somewhere. Caught the first thing smoking down the road somewhere. Cause I caught my steel pony, and boys, I'm going to ride. Go ahead and get a 6 string. Now they call me Mr. Flemons, cause I'm a pool porter now. Good Lord, I caught the first thing smoking down the road somewhere. Caught the first thing smoking down the road somewhere. Cause I caught my steel pony, and boys, I'm going to ride. I'm now going down the train, 6. Now they call me Mr. Flemons, cause I done tore that guitar down. Good Lord, I caught the first thing smoking down the road somewhere. Now when you get over there, you won't find me, cause I caught my steel pony, and boys, I'm going to ride. Get it one more time. All right, Gary. All right, Gary. This one's for you, man. Yeah, man.
Hey, that was fantastic. I'm going to leave people on mute for a minute, and then we'll unmute you. But just now, we're getting a pretty good sound. So, Dom, you had mentioned that's a song that you wrote, and it comes from an album called Black Cowboys. And Dom is not only an amazing musician and songwriter and all-around great guy, but he's also a bit of a historian. He really looks at music from through history's eyes and lets us understand the world better. And so, John, would you tell the group about your Black Cowboy project? Because I just think it's fascinating.
Oh, sure thing. Well, I'm originally from Phoenix, Arizona, and I guess, around 2005, I moved away from Arizona and started living in North Carolina, and that allowed me to kind of open up my study and interest in the old-time blues and country music and what they call old-time fiddle and banjo music, which is music for square dancing. And so I got to know a gentleman by the name of Joe Thompson, who was from a town called Mebane, North Carolina, near Chapel Hill. And I got to learn a lot about the square dance music he used to do at the old-time frolics, as he used to call them. And he said he played 3 nights for the blacks and 3 nights for the whites, and he, in his small community, he was known, and his family was also known for the square dances. So that got me into this sort of deep well of music that I guess when I was growing up, my father's parents, who came from Arkansas and eastern Texas, it gave me a whole new understanding of their lives. Because when I was growing up, we lived in the city and they sort of lived out in the country in Flagstaff. And when I went out to North Carolina, I found that I had a whole new appreciation for their life. And my grandfather particularly, he was a sawmill worker and a preacher for Church of God in Christ in the early 50s. And so he was between Holbrook, Williams, and McNary, and Winslow, Arizona. But of course, growing up, none of these things meant anything to me. But when I began to study the idea of African-American cowboys, because I found a book called the Negro Cowboys, and it was a few years ago. I was traveling back to Phoenix, visiting family for Christmas, and I was right over by the Painted Desert near New Mexico, and I found a book called The Negro Cowboys, and it mentioned that 1 in 4 cowboys who helped settle the West were African-American cowboys, working alongside the Anglo cowboys and the Mexican-American vaqueros. And so as I began to read this history, I then found another appreciation for my grandparents, because they made a westward migration from their homes in the deep South. And so I started working on a project that would take some of the ideas of Southern musical traditions and place them into the context of cowboy music. Because, of course, if we watch most movies on cowboys, they're all white, and that's, I guess, one of the legacies that comes from, the long-standing separation between black and white music and black and white popular culture. And to read about Black Cowboys being a part of the source of the actual cowboy work that came in the early part of the westward migration, I wanted to make an album that talked about that and showcase that for people like myself from the West who may not have heard the history as well, or for others who may know the history and just want to hear a great musical album like Marty Robbins' Gunfighter Ballads album,
Now, you touched on that because that was my album growing up as a kid. My family lived outside of El Paso, and I loved listening to Marty Robbins. Dom, what have you got for us from that Black Cowboy album that you'd like to sing? And I know the 6-string one was too, but let's hear another one.
Well, let's see. One of the songs that I've gotten a lot of positive feedback on was a song that was known as a field holler. And this is a song that people used to sing out in the open country to communicate with each other. And I found this little beautiful ballad in the Library of Congress. It was sung by a woman named Vera Ward Hall, and the song's called The Wild Ox Moan. And while it wasn't classified as a cowboy song, I thought that the lyrics really made sense for a Western album. And also, I had a lot of trouble finding songs about black women out west, even though I found a lot of history books that explained that black women were an essential part of the development of the western settlements. Outside of them being just cowboy camps, the women actually came in and helped make them real cities like we know them today. And so I wanted to imply that with this song. So this is one called Black Woman, and I'll dedicate this one to Ola since it's her birthday. And let's see what we can do. Black Woman, let's see. Well, come here, black woman. And sit on daddy's knee. Well, I've got something to tell you, pretty mama. Don't ye holler, Lordy. Well, I'm going back to Texas. To hear that Wild Ox Moan. And if this morning don't suit me, black woman, I'm gonna drive my bell cow home. Don't your kitchen feel lonesome? When your biscuit roll is gone. And that's it.